What's your holiday?
Nice.
Amazing. My pipes are used this year. So
Yeah, that's nice.
a plus, you know.
Yeah.
My house is not much smaller, but larger.
Okay.
Yeah, that needs adding on, so I'm happy with that.
So last year, we were.
Okay.
We were like, man, I just built this. We had plastic up on the one window, we had stapled to the
I
thing.
had blankets on my window.
We were still feeling air coming out. We could hear the shells of the box next door. Yeah. Windows.
Yeah.
Springtime comes around, I rip the thing down, the windows are.
Good. Yeah, is it okay? Like,
Sorry.
So much trouble.
Can't hear him shovel.
All right, I'm gonna get started with the first public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Program. This year, we are applying for the discretionary program, which is a competitive application process as opposed to our regular allocation that we apply for as well every year. So this public hearing is the first step in the process for applying for that discretionary program. I just ask that everyone on YouTube or Facebook sign in, like by typing their name so it can be reflected in the meeting minutes. But as an overview, the Community Development Block Grant Program was created through Act of Congress, and funds come from the federal government through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and then to the state of Pennsylvania through the PA Department of Community and Economic Development. Every project must be managed according to federal and state regulations governing the program, from how to fund projects, on how to report and document the projects, follow all regulations. The purpose of the program is to assist municipalities with enhancing the viability of their communities by targeting and funding projects that provide decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanded economic opportunities, principally for low to moderate income persons. DCD designates up to 12% of their annual CDBG allocation from HUD to the discretionary program for projects in eligible smaller municipalities. That is municipalities of $10,000 residents or less. Tonight we're going to discuss the regulatory requirements associated with the program and any proposed projects. So for a project to be funded through CDBG, it must be both eligible and fundable, as determined by federal and state regulations. Projects potentially eligible for funding with CDBG include a broad range of activities such as infrastructure improvements, community centers, historic preservation, economic development activities, and public service projects. Activities not eligible for funding include political activities, general operating expenses, anything considered to be maintenance activity, as well as any activity that is a general purpose of government to provide to its citizens. In addition, for this discretionary program, DCD is using the following ranking of priorities in selecting CDBG discretionary application for approval. 1 being water and sewer infrastructure projects, 2, impactful neighborhood streetscapes, 3, slum and blight removal for community revitalization, and 4, resiliency projects, projects that lessen the impact of natural disasters. For a project, not only has to be eligible, but also fundable, so it has to meet one of the 3 national objectives, and they are the first being benefit low to moderate income persons, so 51% of individuals benefiting from the project must be of low to moderate income. The objective is most often met by projects using CDBG and also here in the city of Lock Haven. This must be first determined by the service area of the project, which varies between project to project. For example, a project might serve the whole city, or a water line project might serve just a street. At least 70% of the city's CDBG funds must be used to meet this objective. That is for the regular allocation. I believe the discretionary is 75% of the grant award. There are section 8 income limits in your packet and section 8 statement, section 3 preference statement at the bottom of the agenda in your packet. Number 2, it would be the elimination of slumber blight, and this requires a municipal declaration used occasionally for demolition of deteriorated structures, identifies a fiscal blighting influence, and removes it. Only a maximum of 30% of CDBG funds can be used for that, to eliminate slumber blight. And the third being response to urgent need. It's rarely used, but municipalities may want to respond to a disaster or emergency. This emergency has occurred within the last 18 months and it have a serious and immediate threat to health or welfare. I'm just going to run through some public announcements. These are relating to our annual allocations, so we have to update some plans and resolutions every year. These were updated in 2023, the first being the Fair Housing Resolution and the Fair Housing Notice. And they were, the notice advises residents of the discriminatory actions that are prohibited, as well as provides directions to residents with notifying the appropriate agency should a discriminatory action occur. The city has also developed an anti-displacement plan, so it's not the intent of the city to undertake CDBG activities that result in displacement of residents. But in the event, we're required to have a plan of when that is deemed necessary. And then again, point your attention to the Section 3 preference statement. As every project that we undertake, we like to include, or we're required to include Section 3 businesses and individuals. If interested individuals or businesses they're invited to contact the City of Waukegan Planning Department for more information. Also included is the Section 504 annual review as part of each year's allocation application, and as well as this application, we just ask the public if the city facilities and programs are accessible for learning, mobility, vision, and hearing and language impaired persons. So at this time, I'd like to give anyone the opportunity to identify limitations on access to any of the city's facilities or programs as discussed in the Section 504 review. Does anyone have any questions on those public announcements? All right, the community development plan is annually updated to include 3 years of past funded projects, completed projects, as well as discussed projects that are eligible that weren't funded in this time. Most recently, the city used CDBG CDBG funding to provide grants to local businesses. We completed the Piper Harmon Playground project, and in 2023, the East Bald Eagle Ray Street paving was done, as well as the Waukegan Skate Park. Tiger Park improvements and Homerman Park improvements are scheduled to be completed in 2024, and these are all done with CDBG funds. At this time, I'd like to give anyone present the opportunity to comment or ask questions on any of the projects that were previously funded with CDBG funds. At this time, I would like to give anyone present the opportunity to propose projects for considerations in the city's application to the discretionary CDBG program. And I'd just like to note that a city resident did contact me earlier this week and proposed the use of funds for streetscape projects, which was second in the ranking, I believe, specifically street trees. Immediately, I was just on a webinar about the Barrier Tree Grant, which offers up to 30 trees for eligible applicants, and we have done this program before, so I let her know about the program, and we are going to apply and offer to have her involved in that process as well. So not always are we looking to use CDBG funds. There might be other ways, and this was one of those aspects. But the City of Waukegan proposes the replacement of water infrastructure on Commerce Street between Bellefonte Avenue and West Clinton Street, West Park Street between Bellefonte Avenue and Williams Alley, and East Park Street between Bellefonte Avenue and Liberty Street. We're looking at any combination of this proposed project. I would like to do all three. I'm discussing with the grants manager on with DCD on if we can do all three or if we have to do one. If we have to do one, due to the service area in LMI, it will be the Connor Street between Bellefonte Avenue and West Clinton Street. In addition to this project, we have to do demographic surveys, which will be only for that street, as discussed before. Service area is a big requirement in this program, so just being one street doesn't benefit the entire block group, so we can't use census data. So I'll have to be doing door-to-door surveys on that street, which will be in the upcoming couple weeks here. City is also focused on water and sewer projects as infrastructure continues to be an area of concern. So we'll continue to consider eligible and fundable areas of the city throughout the application process. Pretty set on the previously discussed project, but it has been a lot of back and forth because we do have a lot of lines that need attention. So at this time, I'd like to invite anyone present to comment on any concerns they may have regarding the potential or for historic or environmental impacts associated with any projects under consideration for the 2023 discretionary CDBG funding or any other previously funded CDBG projects. Does anyone have any further questions? Nope. Then I will adjourn the meeting at 6:41 and thank you